Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. My name is Constance and I'm bringing you into the kitchen today to make a really healthy recipe. This is something that's been on my website for a few years now, but I never did a video of it, and so I thought I would share it with all of you guys. It is for a creamy Tuscan chicken, and I'm going to serve this chicken with a salad. But the recipe itself is dairy-free. Now it does use a little bit of ghee, but you can replace that with coconut oil or another cooking oil if you like. And then the creamy part comes from coconut milk. So I'm going to start off by heating up my pan here. And you can use a skillet. I'm going to use my quote-unquote casserole by Lodge. It's just an enameled cast iron skillet. I'm going to turn on my stove, and I'm going to add in about a tablespoon, well, a rounded tablespoon of some of this ghee. And if you're not familiar with ghee, it's really just clarified butter, meaning it's the oil from the butter without all of the solids, all of the other things. And many times people who are lactose intolerant can still use ghee so they can get the butter flavor without actually having the stuff in there that upsets their stomach. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of spread that around. I'm going to let this get heated. And while that's warming up, I'm going to salt and pepper some thin chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Like I said, this recipe is a really healthy option. It is paleo friendly. I also believe it is keto friendly. And so if you're trying to stay low carb, this would be a great one for you. You could serve this, the sauce and the chicken and all that, over a bed of cauliflower rice if you wanted to. I'm going to serve this with a salad. Alright, so my skillet is getting nice and warm. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my chicken fillets, and we're going to cook this over kind of a medium-high heat because we want it to get some nice and golden spots on there as it cooks. And while that is cooking, I'm going to dice up a little bit of onion. Alright, I've got some leftover onion from another recipe, so I'm just going to use this up. Alright, so my chicken here is nicely cooked, kind of seared. It's got kind of golden on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And I've turned my skillet temperature down to low. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my diced onion. And we're just going to cook this until the onion is tender. And then when it's just about ready, I'm going to go ahead and add in 4 cloves of minced garlic. But we'll do that a little bit later just because I don't like to add the garlic right away, because garlic cooks really quickly, and if it gets overcooked, it can become very bitter. Alright, and while this is sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and prepare one of my ingredients. Now, this recipe calls for 1/3 cup of chicken broth, and then I add in some tapioca flour or tapioca starch as a thickener. Now, I don't have any chicken broth open, and I don't want to open up a jar or a carton for just 1/3 cup. So, I've got 1/3 cup of water, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my tapioca flour and mix that in, make a slurry. And then what I'm going to do is when I add in my coconut milk, I'm going to add a little bit of my better than bouillon chicken bouillon. So I'll still get that little bit of chicken flavor without having to open up a whole can or jar or carton of chicken broth. Alright, so I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of the tapioca starch, and I have a teaspoon here. I didn't want to grab another spoon, so I just put that a heaping one in, because 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. And I'd say that was pretty darn close. And I'm just going to whisk this in so that it's all combined. My onions down here are looking good. They're just about tender. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my minced garlic. Alright, we'll cook this for about 2 minutes, and then we'll add in our next ingredients. Alright, so that's been cooking for a couple minutes, so now I'm going to add in 1 can of coconut milk and my tapioca starch slurry. Alright, and since I used water instead of chicken broth, I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of this Better Than bouillon. Don't need a whole lot because it was only 1/3 of a cup of broth that the recipe calls for. And we'll just let that kind of dissolve. And I'm going to bring all of this mixture up to just a very gentle boil, just so that it kind of simmers and bubbles a little bit. And then we'll turn the temperature all the way down low, and we'll add our chicken back in, and then we'll add in our seasonings. And you want to make sure that you stir this or whisk it, as I'm doing here, because you don't want that tapioca starch to thicken up too quickly and all in one spot and become just a great big clump. It's just like if you were making any other gravy. Alright, so this is beginning to bubble. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that down all the way to low. And I'm going to put the chicken back in here. Now we're going to add in our seasonings. We're going to need a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then I'm going to add an extra tablespoon of basil. Okay, put some of that sauce over the top of the chicken. Alright, I'm going to add in some frozen spinach. If you've got fresh spinach, you would put in about 3 cups. This is frozen, so it's a little more compacted, and so I'm going to go ahead and put in about a cup or so. And then the last thing that we're going to add in is some sun-dried tomatoes. And these are julienned tomatoes. They're just sun-dried. They're not in oil or anything like that, just plain ones. If all you can find are the ones with oil and herbs and stuff, that's fine. I am going to go ahead and chop these up a little bit though, because I just like having smaller pieces. We're going to want about 1/2 cup of these or so. Alright. We're just going to sprinkle these in. And now we're just going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes until the chicken is heated back through and the spinach is cooked, which happens very, very quickly, of course. And then that'll be it. It'll be ready to enjoy. There we go. So that is the creamy Tuscan chicken. Again, this is dairy-free, paleo and keto friendly, and I'm going to serve this with a salad. As I said at the beginning of this video, this recipe has been on my website for several years now, and if you would like to make it, you can get a printable version, save it on Pinterest and all of that. And I will put a link to that in the video description down below. If you try this recipe and you love it, please leave me a 5-star rating on my recipe card there on my website, because it really helps me out. It lets Google know that my recipes are good and helps other people find them. So that is it for today. Thanks for joining me here again in Homestead Kitchen. My name is Constance at Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.